At the family barbecue, I found my son's toys burned in the fire. My brother smirked. He needs to toughen up. I grabbed my kid and left. The next day, my dad showed up begging me to save my brother's job. My family always said I was the quiet one. Not shy or weak, just the brother who didn't need to make every conversation about himself like Tony did. That changed last weekend at our family barbecue when my 5-year-old son Thomas brought his favorite action figures. Tony immediately zeroed in on the backpack. Baby toys again? Time to toughen this kid up before kindergarten eats him alive. Later, I heard Thomas crying. That panicked, heartbroken wail that makes every parent's blood freeze. I found Tony standing by the fire pit, grinning, while Thomas's beloved action figures melted in the flames. Relax, Tony said, brushing off my shock. Kids got to learn the world's not nice. Better he cries here than gets humiliated at school. I scooped up Thomas and left without a word. Behind me, Mom called me too sensitive. Dad muttered about overreacting. Tony laughed, loudest of all. The next morning, Dad showed up unannounced with coffee and that fake concerned expression he uses for family business. Tony's hit some turbulence at work, he said, settling into my kitchen like he owned it. Something about a client deal going sideways. His boss is talking suspension, maybe termination. You used to work with their main supplier, right? Maybe put in a good word? The audacity floored me. Yesterday, my son's toys were literally incinerated for entertainment. Today, they wanted me to save Tony's career. I'm not calling anyone for Tony, I said flatly. Dad's face shifted from disappointed to threatening. So you'd let your brother lose everything over one mistake? If you can't support family when it counts, maybe you should sit the next gathering out. Within hours, the guilt campaign launched. Mom called sobbing about family unity. My aunt texted about forgiveness. Cousins sent passive-aggressive memes about blood being thicker than water. The breaking point came when Tony's wife Pepper cornered me at Thomas's school pickup. You're being petty, she hissed. Tony's always been there for you growing up. Now you're punishing him for being Dad's favorite. But that night, everything changed. An email landed in my inbox from someone at Tony's company. You might want to see this. Attached was an internal fraud investigation report that made my blood run cold. Tony hadn't just made mistakes with client deals. He'd been systematically billing fake consulting fees, falsifying expense reports, and taking unauthorized kickbacks. But the gut punch was seeing my own name listed as a consultant on fraudulent invoices totaling $12,000. Work I'd never done for a company I'd never contacted. The man who burned my son's toys for character building had been stealing my identity to fund his fraud, and my entire family was pressuring me to protect him. I called the bank immediately. Freeze any accounts with my name on them. I'm disputing unauthorized usage. I contacted a lawyer, documented everything, and sent a formal letter to Tony's company clearing my name and providing evidence of the fraud. Within 48 hours, Tony was terminated for cause. His company thanked me for cooperating and offered me legitimate consulting work at double what I'd been making. The family erupted. You destroyed Tony's career. How could you betray family? I'd spent 34 years being the quiet one, the peacekeeper, the one who absorbed everyone else's chaos. But watching my son cry over his burning toys while his uncle laughed was the moment I realized quiet doesn't mean powerless. At the confrontation dinner, I laid out printed evidence, the fraud documents, the fake invoices with my name, the pattern of Tony's failures. For years, you've excused his behavior while expecting me to clean up his messes, I told them calmly. He burned Thomas's toys to toughen him up. Congratulations. He did the same thing to me, and now you get to see what happens when I stop playing nice. Tony tried one last manipulation. You're really gonna ruin your brother over a misunderstanding? I'm not ruining anything. I'm just done being your safety net. 6 months later, I'd built a successful consulting business from Tony's former clients. They all said the same thing. We'd rather work with someone reliable. I bought a house with a yard where Thomas could play safely. No more family barbecues, no more guilt trips, no more being the family's designated victim. Tony still sends angry texts blaming me for destroying his life. I don't respond.